speaker divorcee. Well, I'll tell you, I got married at the age of 20, and I'll go fast forward, and I stayed married with my ex-husband for 21 years and 11 months. And for me, I never got married to get divorced. For me, I was going to get married and stay married and be the best wife and best mom and best daughter-in-law and best sister-in-law. Just, I wanted to be the best. I mean, I'm a firstborn, right? That's what we were talking about. So for me, it was all about being loved. I thought in myself that if I, I'm married for 21. Yeah, you look 21. Jazakallah khairan. Actually, I'm 48 now, and alhamdulillah. And mashallah, my son is married. Alhamdulillah. But you know, the whole thing is, inside of myself, I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be liked. And I thought if I just did stuff and I would do stuff for them, somewhere inside of me, they would love me and accept me and embrace me and have me be part of the family. So that's what I did. And so that's the mom of 5, married for 21 years, 11 months. Entrepreneur, my journey in June of 2008, I started getting these dreams. Excuse me. Walaikum assalam. I started getting these dreams about, and they were, you know, in the beginning, I really fought the dreams. But eventually I had to just surrender to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the dreams were getting clearer and clearer and stronger and stronger. And if I didn't go through that, I would never believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was guiding me every step of the way to say, this is your next step. This is your next step to actually, you know, that piece of your life, being with this man in this life, that season is over. And now the world needs your service. Your world needs that goodness, that message. What message? I had no idea. All I knew was how to be an amazing mom. That's all I knew. Were those years happy? There were definitely moments of happiness. But overall, it was walking on eggshells. It was times of distrust. It was times of we had to watch our words. When you are married to someone who is bipolar, narcissistic, you learn very quickly, and the children learn very quickly, that our behavior is according to his behavior. Okay, so I'll give you one tiny example. If he makes a joke and he says whatever, and I laughed, and he says, what, was that funny? Or the very next day or the very next week, he makes a joke and I don't laugh, then it's like, oh, can't you take a joke? So it's a mentally process where you don't understand how to act. Was there emotional abuse in the mix? Yes, there was. I never got hit physically by this man. He hit the children. But for me, I experienced sexual abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and neglect. 5 categories of that abuse is what I experienced. And June of 2008, I took all 5 kids. My oldest, Omar, was in university. My son, Tariq, has got special needs. He's got cerebral palsy, spastic, quadriplegic. And I took him. And the other 3, my youngest, Hamza, was only 4 years old. And that day, I knew the curtain had come down. And I put all 5 kids in the car, and I just left. No plan, no money, no family. Everybody I know is in South Africa, because that is the key thing with abuse, is they isolate you. What made you finally leave? Was there a moment? Yes. The moment was, I had a dream that my daughter, I only have 1 girl, 4 boys. My daughter Sumaya was in the dream, and she called me and she was crying because she was in the exact same relationship that I had modeled for her. That broke me. I fell down on my musalla and I said, what kind of mother have I been? What kind of model have I set? Because our kids don't listen to our words, but they watch us. And I said, that's it. Today I'm leaving. And I said, Ya Allah, I need help to make sure I show them a new model. a new example. And I cried and asked Allah for forgiveness. We so rarely look at what we are modeling in relationships. Exactly. We, as victims of violence and abuse, we have a tendency, because our self-esteem is crushed, our confidence is broken, we only see what is happening to us. We don't realize that by being victims, we are in that toxic triangle and being the victim. So our children become the enablers. So we have a perpetrator, which is our husband or our in-laws or whoever. We are the victim. And on the other end of the triangle is the enabler. So our children become the enablers. What is wrong with that model is that everybody in that triangle of perpetrator, victim, and enabler are all manipulators. We've taught our children, and if you play one role, you can play any of the other roles. So how do we break that? Is we model something different. We go to a healthy triangle and we show our children something completely different, where it's honesty, love, compassion, and congruency exist. I hope I answered that question, inshallah. I'm looking at, well, yeah, which is far more worse than physical, Elena says. It is, because I'll tell you, emotional abuse and psychological abuse change the neural pathways of your brain and how you make decisions. That's what's so scary, and nobody can see it. And I'm not diminishing physical violence in any way, but emotional and mental, you can't see it. Are you saying staying in a bad relationship, we are also manipulating somehow? Yes. Yes, that was, B. Ness asked this question. Are you saying staying in a bad relationship, we are also manipulating somehow? Who and how? What a fantastic question. The very first time I heard this, I was in complete denial, because I said, I am the victim here. How can I be manipulating? But the key to learning that is to pull yourself out of the situation. And the quickest and fastest way I can tell you is this. Become a little bird in your house for a week and observe yourself, observe your relationship, observe how you are. I started watching myself in the things that I would say, how I would use guilt to get love, how I would use different methodologies, and you probably use something completely different. Become a little bird in your house for a week and watch yourself. Absolutely. Watch how you interact. Watch how you walk. Watch the routine that you are. Every day you do a certain routine. Start observing who you are, because the day you learn who you are, you will be able to break that cycle forever. And I promise you, it took me, Allah is my witness, 1 year to accept the fact that I was also manipulating. When I got it, guess what I did? I left. That was the year of transformation for me, the year of change. It was absolutely liberating. Okay, how do you learn who you are? Any tips on improving self-awareness? Observation is the key thing. Number 2, surround yourself by wonderful people. And number 3, get a coach. I would not be where I am today without a coach. Naima, so if we know that there are toxic relationships out there, why is there such a stigma when a woman leaves a marriage? SubhanAllah, the stigma is connected to culture. The stigma is connected to people in their minds thinking that we are used and abused and discarded, right? Islam doesn't teach us that. Islam absolutely doesn't teach us that we are that, because in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, many men were marrying divorced women, right? Today, the society is different. So even though there's a stigma, it is up to the woman to change her life, to become marriageable and sexy and confident and awesome and brilliant. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more amazing and attractive than a confident woman who can stand her ground and have her own money and make her own choices, her way, her time, the way she wants. There isn't anything like that. I hope I answered that question, Naima. once you see the truth, you cannot continue to live a lie. Yeah, absolutely. But people will still choose. People will still choose to do that. And that's okay. Choosing, as long as you are choosing something, you know you're doing it consciously, right? It's the awakening. It's the saying, this is who I am and this is my choice, even though it's not the culture's choice, even though it's not the community's choice, my family's choice. You know, it's my choice. We talked about the difference between the iddah of divorce and the iddah of the widow. Yeah, that's how we started this whole conversation, didn't we? Could you share a little more about your experience? Absolutely, yes. And it's amazing how our spirits came together on this topic, subhanAllah. The iddah of divorce for me was, in a nutshell, in one sentence, the most horrific, isolating, lonely experience that I've ever gone through. And when I started, I was comparing my iddah of my divorce to my best friend's iddah of her. If I hadn't experienced that, I probably would have just accepted it the way it is. So let me backtrack a little bit. I left my husband, and a couple of years later, my best friend, who we've spent Eids together for like the last 10 years, and her husband and my ex-husband and her children and my children, we spent every Eid together. Her husband passed away. So here we were, the divorcee and the widow. And for me, because I got a divorce, I got a restraining order, I wanted to give my children a new healthy example of life. The society, the community, and the masjid just shunned me. They were like, you do your thing, we do our thing, we don't want to be connected with you, and don't come and ask us for money, because that's your ex-husband's job to support your family and your children. And on top of that, the wives were not allowed to connect with me, because somewhere there was this whole thing. Yeah, you said divorce being contagious. I was like a virus suddenly. Everywhere I went, people were running away. And my best friend, who became a widow like 2 years later, I witnessed the same community, the same masjid, pouring their compassion, their love, their support, the people, and money, tuition for her children for the rest of their lives, tuition for her. Let's pay for your education. Let's send the brothers to fix your car and fill gas. And every Friday we'll send you food. And I'm thinking, what is going on here? Because I was with her during that time of her iddah. So for me, it was, why did it happen? I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know. Was it because I made that choice and my friend's husband passed away and that was Allah's choice? I don't know yet. And I'm still sitting in that space of the question. But it affected my self-esteem. It affected the way I was inside the masjid. It affected me, my children, obviously. Alhamdulillah, that was my experience of the iddah of divorce. Okay, Naima, so in general, what effect does going through divorce have on women, their self-esteem? It crushes you. If a woman, a Muslim woman, cannot turn to her masjid, who can we turn to? Who? The masjid and the imams are always our first point of contact. And if that contact shuns you and tells you not to come back, where else will you go? Right? So I ended up going to different places. We end up turning to non-Muslims, which I did. And I kept telling myself that Islam is perfect, but Muslims are not. And finding that space in my heart to realize that maybe they just don't know. They just don't know. Did people look at you differently, like it was your fault, or was there something wrong with you as a woman? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But alhamdulillah, I'm an enlightened woman. I didn't look at them that way. I didn't take it that way, because the way I look at it is, if you're going to call me something, you're just showing me who you are. I never took it upon me and and embraced that and said, and owned that and said that was me in any way, shape, or form. I just decided to be in my own little cocoon with my kids and really figured out, what do I need to do to be the best mother, to be the best servant to Allah, and make it happen. And so what I did was I applied for government welfare, and I'm proud of that. I am so proud that in Canada, we have a system where I could get a little bit of money just to put food on the table until I was able to find a way to generate money for my own children. So alhamdulillah, that lasted for about a year. And alhamdulillah, that was the end of that. Sister Naima says, so how can a woman emerge stronger from such an experience? Alhamdulillah, that's a good question. And I think what I did was the right way to do it. Number one, you cannot believe what you hear out there. You cannot believe. You've got to, make yourself like a Teflon. You got to know that you made a decision that was the right decision. So many women who leave a divorce, leave a man and want a divorce, they go back. Now, I'll tell you, when you go back, number one, you've either not made a good decision, you made a irrational decision. But when you do go back, the situation will become exponentially worse. So you need to really get a strategic plan on what you're going to do and follow through with it. That's why the support, the structure, social workers, friends, meetup groups are critical to become stronger internally. You need to grow your internal resources. Muna, some sisters do not go to the masjid for support because they feel a sense of shame because of the stigma attached. I know sisters that actually said they felt embarrassed and ashamed, subhanAllah. Yes, I know that feeling because, and it's not just a Muslim thing, it is across cultures. But in Islam, now, Islam is a religion that elevated women, but unfortunately now our cultures have overtaken that, and now there's so much shame attached to divorce, so much. Monica, you did what you needed to do. Pride has no place when it comes to providing for yourself and the kids. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I still have my little welfare stubs and tickets because the way I look at it is, if I could go from this ticket to where I am today, right? Number one, best-selling author, entrepreneur, speaker. And if I can do it, and I'm just a normal, average young girl, guess what? Look at what's possible for you. And that's my mission in life. So is divorce ever a good thing? Yes, 100%. Divorce was a fantastic thing for me, because I would never have been able to be the woman I am today, step in my brilliance, be financially autonomous, raise my kids this way if I was still married to that particular man. So if you and your husband in your relationship can come up with a plan that will actually allow you guys to have that intimacy and autonomy at the same time, then fight for that. But if that's not possible, and there comes a time where you are meant to do something bigger and grander, something happens to us in our 40s. We've had our babies are growing up, and we have this urgency to serve at this much grander scale. And if that man who's so belittling and narcissistic was not allowing me to do this work to help women globally, it's time to move on. It's time to create something that's sustainable and something big and giant that has a life of its own. So for me, yes, divorce was an amazing thing for me. I hope I answered that question, inshallah. Isn't it amazing how the worst circumstances can bring out the very best in us? Subhanallah, Naima. I'll tell you, when I hit rock bottom and I thought to myself, Ya Allah, what am I doing here? What do I do with my life? How do I make money? And I sat there and I cried and begged Allah to show me the way, saying, now what do? I took my kids, I put them in a safe environment. And now what? And when you hit rock bottom like that, and I went from extreme wealth to nothing, then the only one we can count on is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the moment that the seed just burst and we start blossoming in who we're supposed to be. But the road is never clear, never clear. Abida, did you at any point seek professional help to work on the relationship, like therapy? In the 21 years that I was married, yes, we did. And my ex-husband always said in every conversation that we had that I was the problem. And he said that there was nothing wrong with him, that I was the problem, the children were the problem, his brothers and sisters were the problem, his parents were the problem. And if all of us could fix all of our problems, our marriage would be okay. And so when it comes to professional help and relationship coaching and therapy, it takes two to tango. One person cannot fix an entire relationship. Each person must be 100% responsible for their part. I hope that makes sense to you. You're a beautiful light, mashallah, inspirational, warm, and alive. We love you. Oh, to give you guys all hugs. Jazakallah khairan. Tell us about your Awaken program. Actually, if it's okay with you, I would rather talk about a different program because of the content of this. And I wanted to talk about a program that I have. It's called From Injured to Inspired. And this program is really, really close to my heart because I found that in life as young girls, we never really get that foundation that we need to blossom without feeling guilty. And as we go, whether it's in the workplace or we're working with different kinds of people, we have these little injuries that take place, which I call emotional scars, right? And what my program From Injured to Inspired is, it's all about going from that little injured bird to growing and blossoming into an inspiration. So it's like the phoenix rising, right? When you have a death of a relationship, a death of a child, a death of an idea, you go and you rebuild yourself from that. So if you guys want to check it out, you can go right to FromInjuredToInspired.com and text me. Send me questions about it. You know, you can text me at spiritualbizmom@gmail.com. And the program is going to be starting in a couple of weeks, inshallah. And see if you like it. See if it's something that resonates with you. See if it's something that, for me, it's all about how do you become more alive instead of just going through life as in one day at a time, you know? Because the world needs more people that are alive. The world needs more people that are just, you know, wake up every day. And I mean, I'm remarried, alhamdulillah. And, you know, my husband always, he makes this big joke. He's like, Shaitan doesn't stand a chance with you, only when you're sleeping. But when you wake up, subhanallah, I don't know what that boy does, right? And, you know, it's all about enjoying every moment. We might not be able to control other people or other things or how we want things done, but you can definitely control yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your feelings, and how you want to show up in your life. And that's what it's all about. From Injured to Inspired. You know, check it out. Ask me questions. Let me know what you like about it, what you don't like about it. And we might even... How do you stay so positive? I'm going to let Aisha into the call, inshallah. Yeah, sure. How do I stay so positive? How can I not? Oh my God!
Oh, this is crazy. Can you hear me?
MashaAllah, I can hear you. I can see you clearly.
That is just the most random thing that has ever happened. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Oh my
I hope
goodness,
you're all well. And Fatima, you are going to run Sisters Speak from now on because you are fantastic. You are amazing. You just took it away, and I should just come off this screen now. There's no need.
Now look at this, ladies. The
Alhamdulillah.
party's just begun.
Oh wow. Okay, Aisha, let's see if we can bring you in here. Let's see how it goes. It says Aisha went on air.
Yeah.
Aisha, Mia, are you there?
Yes.
Ha, assalamu
Alaikum
alaikum.
salam.
How can we, what do you have to say to Fatima? Do you have any questions for her or anything you'd like to add?
No, it's been a very interesting discussion. I've just recently gone through a divorce, and my daughter was finding it very hard. So I had gone to my daughter's local mosque and spoke to the imam and asked for counselling for my daughter. And I'm sad to say that you know, the imam listened to, you know, my situation and what had happened and how it had affected my daughter. But unfortunately, I've not received the help that I had sought from the imam, and it's really sad. I mean, he seemed very sincere and was quite astounded what had happened, but you know, there's not really that facility available for children that are suffering as a result of divorce and separation. And it was really, really sad for my daughter and stuff. And you know, to access counselling under the, you know, Islam and Muslim viewpoint, it's difficult to you know, source. So I'm wondering if Fatima's sister had any advice regarding that.
Yeah, sometimes we find that there's not a lot of emotional intelligence when it comes to sort of dealing with these types of issues. It's easy to find rulings and sort of, you know, you should do this or you shouldn't do that. But sometimes it's more a matter of understanding what the person's actually going through and what they need in this time. But Fatima, do you have anything to give to Aisha?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, Aisha, unfortunately, sweetie, the problem is imams are not trained as coaches and counselors. And unfortunately, we as Muslims, we put a lot of burden on our imams, right? But what the imams need to do is to actually bring in and have a list of people and say, Sister Aisha, here's a card. Call this person. Sister Aisha, here's something. And I think that's what we need to mobilize. And if everyone on the call will go to imam and say, if you know of a counselor or a coach or a therapist, go to the imam and say, I know you're not, you're qualified. I know you get a lot of people. Here's a stack of my cards. Please, if somebody walks in, just give them a card. I'll be willing to help. You know, so if we mobilize, and all of us in different masjids, I do that in my local masjid. I'm actually putting together a flyer, and so they call me and say, you know, Sister Fatima, we have this. What I do for sisters in violent, abusive situations or sisters who don't have money, all my services in that area are completely 100% free. And whatever I can do in my day and in my week, that's a sadaqatul jariyah that I want to do, you know, for my sisters because I'm qualified. The other thing that you can do, Sister Aisha, you need to get some books, honey. Really get some books and read about your situation, because I'll tell you right now, your child is in exactly same emotional state as you. She doesn't know anything else except what she's feeling. So what happens is we're saying, yes, darling, it's okay. But inside you have this rage. All you want to do is put 100 daggers into that ex-husband of yours. I know. I went through that because they want to destroy us, even if it's through the children. Oops, Sister Aisha's gone, but maybe you can still hear me. So when you find that place of solace and peace inside of you, inshallah, your child will get that also. I hope that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Fatima, would you be able to send us some recommendations for books that we can access maybe after the show? And we'll put them on the Sisters Magazine website, inshallah, underneath this video.
Okay, I will make a note of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to make some notes for myself, and I'll get at least, 4 or 5 books that are really, really good, and you guys can read it, inshallah. and which helped me a lot, and it helps my clients as well. I hope that answered your question, Sister Aisha.
Thank you very much. So I wasn't expecting to come live on air. So I'm in my bed and not dressed properly.
It's
so
okay. It's okay.
Been a big shock. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
That's okay. Alhamdulillah. Does anybody else have any questions? You can type questions in the corner. And I just want to say, actually, now that I'm actually here with you, you guys have been fantastic. I love the props that you're giving. You see those hands like this? Those are the props. And mashallah, Fatima's got 2,405, which is a bit of a record around here. Alhamdulillah. So we've got a Tawfiq coaching. Are you coming in on this call? I can see that you're attempting to come in. If you want to come in, it's no problem. But really, you know, I just feel your energy, Fatima, mashallah. Everyone in the room can feel it. Your energy and your positivity and that warmth, which is really, I think, what we need in the ummah, is people who are grounded in their deen and go forward and use it as a sort of a dynamo, really, to go out there and make a difference in their own lives, in their families' lives, and in the lives of their communities. I think it's amazing, mashallah. You know, I'm fangirling. I'm going to give some more props.
Naima, and thank you for saying that. I'm going to tell you how a sister can do that and be just like me. Do you guys want to hear that? Okay. I'll tell you right now what the secret is. Stop complaining. Just stop.
Ooh, okay.
Just stop. If you want to vent, okay, so I know I want to vent and somebody says that and then just say to your sister, I need your time, half an hour of your time, and I'm just going to vent. Then you just get on the phone and you just vent, like you're regurgitating, blah, okay, take it all out, whatever, or get a journal and write down how much you hate that person and then burn the paper right away. When that is done in your day-to-day conversation, stop it. Put an elastic band on your hand, and when you complain, snap it. You need to punish yourself when you complain. And right away, when you stop yourself from complaining, go into a state of shukr.
Wow, I love it. Love it.
Okay,
love it.
Right now, where you are, you look around your room. Okay, I have a child with cerebral palsy that cannot get out of his wheelchair, take himself to the toilet, go to the fridge and get food. Imagine if you were him for one day or 1 month and you needed a PSW to take you out to the toilet day and night. How would you be feeling? Okay? Think about that. What if you didn't have running water? What if you didn't have the room that you had? We have so much to be shukr for. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us, when we are grateful, we will get more things to be grateful for.
Yeah, mashallah. That's just like that change of mindset, isn't it?
Right away.
So powerful, mashallah.
There's a question here that's come through. Amara, what was the worst experience emotionally during Iddat? Material questions are not major problem if you cannot collect yourself, really. I don't really understand.
I think she's saying, what was your worst experience in the Iddah, so from an emotional perspective?
From an emotional perspective was the isolation, right? Because even my own friends thought I was after their husbands, and I'm thinking to myself, sister, you confided in me. I know your problems. I don't want him. You know, I'm just like. He's the last
people forget. I think people forget that. Yes.
You know, I'll tell you another funny story. After when I started making videos and stuff like that, and why do women feel that way? Because we're jealous creatures. What else? You know, we want to hang on to our men. But I'll tell you, there was all these different agencies who came after me, and they were like, "You can talk for us, and you can be our representative." And we're gonna bash men, and we're gonna like put down men, and I'm just like, what? That's not my message. I'm raising 4 men. You know, I love men, right? I'm raising 4. I'm not gonna bash men. 1 man and his family abused me, and one day I'm gonna get married again, and Allah's gonna choose somebody that's going to be behind my message, and is going to be awesome, and is going to be an encourager and a supporter. And I think it's all about in here, right?
I think this is a really interesting thing that I'm seeing with, you know, sort of like this new, like a new wave almost of sort of life coaching amongst Muslims, which is sort of this positive psychology and sort of believing, expecting good. Is that part of your philosophy?
Yes and no. I think that positive psychology has its place, but I also think I'm also a true believer in feeling every ounce of your feelings. Because in that 21 years and 11 months that I was married, I was in denial of my anger. I was in denial of my resentment.
Okay.
And what I say now is that when you're angry or frustrated or, you know, you're feeling depleted, go deep into that feeling and feel all of it, because that is who you are. Feel all of it and just be truthful to yourself and say, wow, can I really be this angry? And be in it. Because underneath that anger, as you go deeper and deeper into those negative emotions, that's where the glory of your freedom comes. That's where your forgiveness is. But when you deny it and you're only into positive, you start creating somewhat of an illusion of happiness.
Yes. So we've got somebody saying, so if you recognize your anger, how then do you move on from that anger? Okay, so you've acknowledged that it's there. How do you move on from it rather than getting sort of consumed by it?
Well, number one, if you don't have a coach, get a friend, or like I said before, a journal. And what I would say is, if you're going to journal, number one, you need a private space, because the minimum amount of pages of hate that you need to spew on your pages is 30. You need to write and write, because the first page, the second page, it's all superficial. It's all superficial. It's all superficial. By the time you get to page 10, and if you run out of something, you just have to write, I hate you. And you have to keep on going. By page 15 is when that deep anger that you have pushed down and compartmentalized start coming up. And that's when your tears start coming and your pages are wet with writing. And you just write, because you are an amazing, incredible person who's been able to push back your demons so far back that sometimes you don't even know they exist. Journaling has been one of the most powerful things I have done. And then please, please, please burn those pages immediately.
Really? So that's important, is it? Getting rid of it after
it is a cathartic experience, and you want to burn it because this is not for anyone else to find or see, and for you to make, find the time to burn it. That's the time to do it and finish it and complete the process.
Wow. I love this this comment that Monica made, something where she said that many people try to talk your feelings away, talk your anger away, and do a sort of spiritual bypass it away. Now that's very
she's saying that's what I love about your work.
About spiritual
that's what I love
bypassing.
About your work. Many people try to walk it away, a spiritual bypass. You can't. Exactly, you just can't, because deep in that anger, and actually we were talking about this earlier, deep in that anger are vows that you made at certain points of the timeline of your life. That's why divorce is so difficult to disentangle, because you made a vow to stay married to that person until death. And death is actually easier than a divorce, because when death comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put his hand, fixed it, you go through extreme pain and anguish and isolation, but then you move on. In a divorce, there's a person out there walking around having a life that you said you had to be together with. And so we need to reconcile and go back into ourselves, the vows we made consciously and unconsciously. I have a saying that I say to my children all the time, Sister Naima, and I say, don't make promises when you're extremely happy, and don't make vows when you're extremely angry. Because our emotions fluctuate. Be in a calm space, physically, mentally, logically, to make good decisions that that you'll be able to go through life with. And it's not sustainable to make promises when we're so happy, vows when we're so angry. You know, I'll never let another man love me, and I'll da 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 da, and I'll da da da. You know, but we go. Somebody.
It's true, subhanallah, it's true. We've got some amazing comments here. Muna's saying, what if you stay with a feeling so long that you go in too deep and it opens something that you're not ready to acknowledge yet? I mean, it's been repressed for a reason. So what if that happens?
Mona, and I really think you need to get a professional involved. Somebody that is a coach or a mentor or a therapist, someone that you feel that can understand you and help you through that process. Sometimes we cannot do some of the stuff alone.
So do you advocate therapy then? Absolutely. Do you think therapy is, or counseling is
coaching,
the way forward?
Counseling, therapy. Sometimes I think you have to do your research about where that person is going and if they understand your aqidah as well. Very important, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So again, going to aqidah, you've got this. You've got a quote here. So when you tell anyone your negative feelings, the stock response, I think, is what Monica was referring to as a spiritual bypass, isn't it? Sort of sabr and shukr, and sort of guilting you into having bad thoughts, because maybe if you have bad thoughts, it means you're a bad Muslim. How would you explain that or try to make sense of that?
Well, I'll tell you, if you hear someone say make sabr and shukr, run. Just run. You need to find... Run,
really?
Because you don't need to hear that.
That's what most people know how to do. They just know how to say khair, inshallah, and inna Allah ma sabirin, and just be patient, and that's really, as what Monica is saying, is that's really all they know how to do. It's something that you learn, to support in a different way. So okay, so we're running if someone says have sabr. Okay.
Because it's not gonna work. Like I said to one imam, I said, if I need any more sabr, I'm going to kill myself. And he's like, khair, inshallah, khair, wow. make dua, give charity. And I was like, if I don't get out of this masjid right now, someone's going to die,
So why is this our response then? Why is this our response? Is it because we're not connected emotionally? Is it an empathy issue?
We don't want to go into that person's pain because we are inundated with our own pain.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. People don't want to connect really. They don't want to connect really. No, it's right. You're right.
We are so inundated with our own pain. Right. That's why if you get a good coach and a mentor, we know how to love you and hold space without jumping into your pain. Right? And the other thing is there are some coaches and mentors who do projection. They don't even understand what's going on. And then they start telling you everything from their own past experiences. That's going to cause you more damage as well.
Wow. Okay. SubhanAllah. Monica's saying, how about being, she's just got a fantastic, I don't know what you think, Fatima, of what she said, but I just think being able to acknowledge the person's pain and be vulnerable, allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, sis, I hurt that you're hurt. It hurts me that you're in this. The thing is, I don't know how to help. Can I help you find someone? It's just so much more real and tangible, isn't it, than just saying, oh, have sabr ukhti, or I'm making dua for you, which you may be making dua for the person. But again, it's just like, it's sort of more like water off a duck's back.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Well, Monica is my sister from another mother. And, subhanallah, and I think that's what it is. You need for someone to jump into your circle and to just hold you emotionally and say, I'm here. And if you say you're in pain, then guess what? I know you're in pain. And I'm willing to listen. I think as moms, and if there's any other parents online, as parents, we have to do that for our own children. Like, I know that when I wasn't connected to my own feelings and my children would cry, I'd say, okay. I don't do that anymore. For the last 15, 20 years, I don't do that. This is what I say now. This is what works for me. I say to my son or my daughter, you know what? Take as much time as you need to cry. And when you're done, and you feel like you've explored all this crying, I am right here for you.
MashaAllah.
Give
Amazing.
them permission.
Amazing. I think I'm going to let some more people on the call. Hafsa and Tahseen. Hafsa and Tahseen, please make sure that your camera ready. Okay, so if you're in hijab, make sure that you've got it on. Don't want to catch you out in a bad moment. Hafsa, are you ready for me to make you live? I'll make you live now, inshallah.
Yay!
And anybody else, obviously this is a live show. It's being recorded. We've got all kinds of people here, people who subscribed, people who didn't subscribe. We've got brothers, we've got sisters, we've got Muslims, non-Muslims, people of all different faiths. And it's fantastic that we can be together in this space, sort of sharing this wonderful wisdom with Sister Fatima and our wonderful contributors who should actually be part of the call. Muna and Monica. Next time we're going to get you on the call, inshallah. So I'm trying to connect Hafsa, but it's taking a bit of time. So anybody else who wants to jump on, just call in.
Okay, so Hina is asking, I don't mind being live. Do I have to wear hijab? If you don't normally wear hijab, you don't have to wear hijab. I think honesty.
I tried to join Hafsa in here, but I can't get her.
Well, I've never been married, so I don't think I'm qualified to talk about divorce, Mona. Alhamdulillah. We have.
The thing is, I mean, Fatima, divorce is like any kind of trauma, isn't it? And I think the things that you're talking about.
You know how they've described divorce, Naima?
They apply to so many different circumstances.
Some psychologists and sociologists say divorce is like an emotional heart attack.
Wow.
That's what they're now calling it, an emotional heart attack. And I think that, I wanted to bring up a point. Oh, Hina's coming. A lot of sisters. Hey, Hina, how are you, honey?
Hi.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Props to you, Hina. Where are you joining us from?
I am from Brampton, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, yay, another Canadian in the house. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sister Speak, our second session of Sister Speak with, as you can see, MashaAllah, the wonderful Fatima Omar Khamissa. We'll let your signal come back on, or if you have anything you'd like to add or anything you'd like to ask, please feel free.
Hina, the floor is yours.
What should I say? Floor is mine.
We can hear you, so you can ask.
I don't know, I
we
just
can
got
hear
on
you.
and I was like, okay, I'll just get online and check it out.
We can't hear you now, actually. Maybe you can type your question, sis.
Sure, I can type my questions, I guess.
Oh, now we hear you perfectly.
No, we can hear you. If you speak, then we'll be able to hear you. Just speak and say what you'd like to say.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. I mean,
if you have a question and comment about divorce.
All right,
you don't want to say anything?
You're just here with
Pardon?
us. That's fantastic. Alhamdulillah. Okay, well, I think, this emotional heart attack. Go on about that, Fatima.
Yeah, so sociologists and psychologists are now saying that.
My story is a bit complicated for mine. So.
We can see you
my
now.
story is a little bit complicated for divorce and stuff, so. I got an abusive marriage. I was married for about 11 years, and I left 7 years ago. So,
wow. SubhanAllah. Do you feel that you've?
So I'm still trying to process my divorce. It's taken a while, though.
Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to ask Fatima that you think would help you to make your way through this situation that you're in? Fatima, I would like to know, I really would like to know, for Hina and for other women who are still dealing with the aftermath of a divorce. Obviously divorce happens in so many different ways. You can't even quantify how many different ways a divorce comes about. But do you have any general advice for anybody getting over an emotional heart attack, as you describe it, so that anybody here who's in that situation, who knows anyone in that situation, can actually apply that in their lives? I know you have some gems for us.
Well, I think the first thing what we have to do is be honest with ourselves. So there are different categories of women. The one category is all your friends and family want to get you hooked up with the next Muslim guy that walks in the masjid, right? Okay. And that is problematic, right? The other category, right? And I think what we all have to do with whatever is going on is we have to be honest with ourselves. So don't go jumping into another nikah relationship with anybody. Don't, right? For me, I thought it was brilliant that I was now divorced in my 40s and I got to spend alone time with me, get to know myself. And I wasn't a young 18-year-old or a 20-year-old anymore. I had 5 kids. I've got a great brain. I've got a vision. And I started, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, date yourself. Okay? I started doing that.
Wow. Wait a minute. We need to tweet that. Am I the only one who's actually tweeting from this blab? I really hope not, because that is amazing. So date yourself.
Totally.
Carry on.
Date yourself, right? Once a week, send yourself the best flowers. Go to the movies. Go to the museum. Spend alone time. Go to the restaurant. Spend time completely 100% in solitude, alone. You know what's going to happen? You are going to get to know who you are, and you're going to fall in love with you. Now,
wow,
a couple of years are going to go by, and you're going to be saying, you know what, Allah, I might be ready for a new relationship now. Now you know the woman that you are, and now you know exactly what you're bringing to the table. And I'll tell you, it is very powerful. When I started doing that, and I taught this in my second chance program, okay, my second chance program, how to find a suitable future husband. And I started teaching women how to go on coffee dates with guys, and the first 50 don't count.
Wow. What do you mean the first 50 don't count?
The first 50 guys that you meet,
first 50?
Yeah, they don't count.
Okay. Who's meeting more than 50 guys? That's really a hectic schedule.
Yes, because I'm radical like that. What can I say?
SubhanAllah. Wow. Okay.
So what ended up
we've
happening?
got some interesting comments coming here from Abida.
Let's read them.
And you see here, she's saying her understanding of divorce Islamically was never that it was a, such a negative thing. It's sad, but it's a chapter in life. Just look at the seerah and you'll see that obviously it was something that used to happen. I'm just trying to go back up again to her point. Yeah. But, sort of where does this understanding of an emotional heart attack come from? Have we changed as a society? Have we changed as Muslims in our view of what marriage should be? I think we have. But anyway, yes. I'm not going to say my point. What do you think, Fatima?
100% we've changed. And it's all connected to expectations, right? It's all connected to expectations. So somewhere along the line, I've met young girls, which is kind of scary when I go into the high schools and I start speaking to them. A lot of the young girls are wanting to get post-secondary education and do their thing. But I'll tell you, there's about 40 to 50% of young girls who think that a husband is their financial plan. So let's talk about expectations. Okay? Now, what happens is that guy is not going to keep up to your expectations. And you're going to go into a relationship with no education and no vision except that he's it. He's everything. Right?
Right.
And I think that what we need to do is change those expectations and go into a relationship like two equal, heal and whole people. There are so many young kids that are coming out of high school and first year university or second year university, and they're broken. They're broken and they're injured. And they think that guy is going to fix that hole inside of them. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. That is totally the wrong, crazy concept that you have. Right?
Isn't it such a huge burden to put on another human being and on a relationship to say, here I am, I'm broken, fix me? It's such a huge thing to do and expect of somebody else.
It's selfish.
Yeah. Okay, it is, yeah, it is. So, I mean, I've got some people here saying some fantastic things. A sister said, my sister has been divorced twice. Both times she married the same type of manipulative man. Now, she wants to get married again, but I really feel like she's using marriage as a crutch instead of dealing with what actually happened. So how can you convince someone to stay with themselves for a while when they're adamant that they just want to be married?
To answer the question in a simple way, you cannot. Okay? I have a sister who was in a violent, abusive relationship. I have all the skills, the resources, the know-how. She chose to stay. So the first answer, the quick answer to the question is, you need to love your family for who they are and the choices that they make, even if you don't agree. That is what we call unconditional love. Okay, that's the first part. Right. The second piece I'm picking up on this is both times she married the same type of man. Why? Because she didn't take time to change her wiring and her signal. And I'll tell you, when you still attracting that kind of guy, I can put you in a room with 500 guys and the manipulator could be sitting on the back room on that chair. You will go to him.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, Fatima, how does that happen? Because we often hear that you attract the kind of man, that many people attract the wrong type of man, and they don't just do it once. They do it once, twice, sometimes 3, 4 times. That there's the certain type of man who's toxic for them, who's negative for them, but they keep attracting that kind of person, and it's to do with something in themselves, a deficiency in themselves. What where does that come from? What are we projecting something?
She's attracting the wrong type of guy. She isn't attracting the wrong type of guy. She is attracting the perfect guy for her. Why? Okay? Ooh. It's not the wrong guy. It's the right guy. Okay? So, that's the scary part. It's the right guy and the perfect guy to fulfill her need to be abused. Okay?
Oh my God, that is too deep. Fatima, that's too deep. Wait, just wait a minute. I think we all need to process that. And you just hit 3,000 props, okay? Can we all just give her more props to take her up to 3,050 or 100 or something? That is really, really deep with 3,100, 3,150. No, but please.
Okay. Let's just go back into
You're saying that she has this need to be abused, and therefore she's attracting the kind of man who will give her what she needs.
I'm going to give you a little preview of the program that I'm creating right now for February next year. And this program, and I'm going to give you the synopsis of it. The program is called Not Your Parents' Marriage. Are we still using a model that works today? Okay, so that's what we're working on for next February, and I'm going to give you a preview, which is, I did this program at a couple of conferences, and subhanAllah, Naima, I never had such a standing ovation with people bawling their eyes out after I did this program, okay? And the reason I did the program is my son, who's now 18, he was 16 at the time, and he's a scientist in his thinking. And he said, Mama, 50% of people get a divorce today, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim. You help so many people. Will you help me change my numbers? That's how the program started. Okay? And we went into this whole process of premarital counseling and surveys and how we are compatible with each other, subhanAllah. So let me go back. We need to go back a little bit into our childhood. And let's look at how our parents, we started this conversation on why I left, because I was modeling a negative, toxic relationship with my children. Guess what? Somewhere inside my children's psyche, they know already how to abuse and how to be abused. I can never go back to 1988 when I was 20 and redo that time, can I? Exactly. No. Well, I was born in 1967, and I witnessed my parents' model. right? The stage was set. The people, their limiting beliefs was set. Their cultures was set. Their values was set. Everything was set. And then the baby arrived onto the scene, right? And all the baby knew was what they were going to implant into the baby through osmosis, through language, through guilt, through conversation. That's all we know. So now, let's imagine this for a second. You grow up, and this young man is growing up in his household. He sees this model, I see this model. When we get married, he brings his model with him. I bring my model, and we're wondering why the square and the star is not fitting. We never had this conversation of, oh, darling, this is what my parents did, blah, 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 when they got stressed out. And he said, oh, darling, this is what my parents did. All we know is what our subconscious mind, because from the age of 0 to 7, we are completely in alpha. All we're getting is information to program our conscious mind. We're not in beta. Like right now, you and I are in beta. Our brains are in beta. We can have a conversation. But when you are between 0 and 7, your brain is in alpha. That's why we learn so well. We learn languages without being taught. How do babies learn these type of things? And we're learning everything what our parents are teaching us. So if you saw an example of abuse, and I'm not going to pick on men because women are also violent and abusive. So you some kind of a model of violence and abuse. And we talked about the toxic triangle, perpetrator on the top, victim on the one corner, and enabler on the other side. If you have experienced or played any of those roles, you will only attract somebody that fits into that toxic triangle. You don't know how to attract anything of a different triangle, which is a God-conscious congruent triangle. You don't know.
So how do you learn?
You have to work on your inside. First, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to figure out, like I had to sit down with myself and say, oh my God, I am a manipulator. I use guilt. I use this. I use this. Really become honest without judging. Not, oh, I'm a bad girl.
How do you do that? How do you do that? So being honest with yourself and being real with yourself without also being really hard on yourself and judging yourself and ending up hating yourself, because obviously that's, you've now taken it too far. It's no longer productive. It's no longer positive. So how do you make sure that you don't end up going to that extreme?
Well, here's an exercise you can do. Have you ever been into a new mall somewhere and you were looking for a store and you got lost in the mall? Right? We've all done that. So now say you were in the USA and you go to a mall and you find that place where the information desk is or a map and you find a red dot. What does it say? You are here. You are here. That's all you need to do with your life. Sit down with your life and say, you are here, Fatima, and no judgment, because forgiveness of yourself is saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never give anybody even a minute to redo, will he? No. Right. But in order to make shaitan happy, you can go into regret. So stop it. Wow. Stop it. Right?
So are you sort of bringing that to the sort of, the what if, in the hadith it says, what if is from shaitan. So for example, if you are here and you say, if I had done this, if only I had done that, if I had been such and such, basically going back and trying to redo the past, which is impossible. Okay.
And you go, all right. You take the elastic and you snap your hand and you say, shut up. Okay. And you say, I love you, but just shut up right now.
Subhanallah. Okay.
Right? Okay. So then you just say you are here. And every time you have a regret of your past, know this. You are making your open enemy, shaitan, happy. So how do you make Allah happy? You focus on right now, your breath. You come back to now. Right now is the only moment you have. Even the next moment is not promised.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So what I did, the first thing I did, and I do this with my clients, it's a process we do. And from injured to inspired, we're going to do this particular process with me.
Okay.
Then you go into this breath and you say, I need to go into a place of istighfar now. And you just ask Allah for forgiveness.
Okay.
If you are willing to forgive yourself, trust me, your Lord is willing to forgive you.
Yeah. Sometimes He's more forgiving than we are with ourselves.
Much more. And then plan and say, what is it that I really want to create for my life now? I've been walking around subconscious, unconscious, superconscious, whatever it is. But now I'm awake.
Right.
And you make a solid dua. Allah, I am surrendering. Help me to create a good, positive future. And guess what? Then you take action. Execution is the key. Because dua, listen, I made dua for 21 years and 11 months. Let me tell you, Allah will not come cook your rice and clean your chicken and put spices in your pot. He won't. You need to take action.
Can we get some props for that and some tweets for that? Allah will not come and cook your rice and put spice in your pot. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. This is some realness happening here. This is some, mashallah, tabarakallah. This is amazing, amazing. Yeah. Go on, please.
Allah says, right? Allah's words are He will never, ever change a circumstance for a people until we change what's inside, what is in ourselves, the thoughts that are going through our head. You know, just stop it. Stop it already and say, Bismillah, it's another moment and another day. Allah will send you resources. Allah will send you people. Allah will send you a blab platform. Allah will send you a tweet and a Facebook message, but He's not going to cook your chicken.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Subhanallah. Okay, so listen, we've been on here. We've shared. We have connected. I want to thank everybody who's been here. Fatima, you are a star. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. You ran the show for very long until I kind of came on the scene and started making noise with you. But you're on your way to 4,500 props, I believe, by the end of this show. Please tell our listeners and our viewers. This video will be available on the Sisters Magazine website, inshallah, this week. Inshallah. Tell us how we can connect with you and your work.
Just come to spiritualbizmoms.com. Oh, I love you guys too. Spiritualbizmoms.com. The new book is coming out in the next 2 weeks, inshallah. Make dua, it'll go to number 1. It's called From X to Extraordinary, How to Use Your Divorce as a Springboard for Success in Your Life, inshallah.
Amazing. Amazing, mashallah. And are you on Twitter? Are you on Twitter, Fatima?
Yes, Fatima Khamissa.
Okay. And your website is FatimaOmarKhamissa.com, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the website, spiritualbizmoms.com. It'll all go to the same place.
Fantastic, mashallah. Well, listen, everybody, it's almost 1:30 in the morning for me. I want to thank you all for being amazing. We had, mashallah, beautiful souls join us today. Fatima, it's been an absolute privilege, an absolute honor to host you on Sisters Speak. You know, everybody, come and check out Fatima's article where she compares the iddah of divorce and the iddah of widow on sisters-magazine.com. We've also got a whole section that's been dedicated to divorce and covering the issue of divorce through sisters-magazine.com. So come on there, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Myself, your kind of host today, my part host, Naima B. Robert. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Please feel free to join me there. And inshallah, in 2 weeks' time, we've got another blab session planned, another session of Sisters Speak. We're going to be speaking about the new Muslim family, and we'll be focusing on the issue of raising young people, young Muslims in the West. And we've got outstanding Muslim parents are going to be in the place. We've got gangology in the place, inshallah. It's going to be live and direct. You guys have been fantastic. Jazakallah khairan. Please tell other people about it and make sure you subscribe to the next time and follow Fatima, follow Sisters Magazine, follow me, and follow the advice that we've received today, because I think it's just been gems after gem after gem after gem. Allah barik feek. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. Subhanak Allahumma rabbana bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.